What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded, and I'm your host, Eric. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about your role as a journeyman wireman in the IBEW. All right? You have several roles. It's not just to show up and go to work and put in electrical work, all right? You have several roles. So let's get into it. Organize. You got to tell people the good news about unions. So what does this mean? It means as an IBEW journeyman, you also are an organizer for the IBEW. So when you're out in the world, in the public, wear your union shirts, you know, when you're out in the world in public. When you're out in the world in public interacting with other people who work for a living, mention unions to them and the benefits of it, especially if you're in a store that you know the store is not unionized. Talk to the workers. You don't have to get in deep. Just briefly drop seeds about unions and how good they are. That's the organizing effect of our membership, and it's something that we have to use. It's a tool that is underutilized because many of our members don't even understand that that's part of their job, is to go out there and promote how good unions are. And not just the IBEW, although the IBEW is phenomenal, but unions in general, because it is a collective, and if we all work for a living, we all have to support each other. That's how it works. It's how we gain better pay, better conditions. And you got to keep in mind that a rising tide raises all ships. So everybody does better when everybody does better. That means the people at the top do better when the people at the bottom do better, because that rising water lifts everybody up. All right? Work smarter, not harder. You're not meant to go to work and destroy your body for the sake of getting an electrical installation put in or any installation put in. So you got to work smarter, not harder. We got to promote reasonable methods of work. If there's a better way to do it, you've got to be vocal about it and let them know that there's a better way to do it, and this is what I think and this is why. You got to be a good sibling. You got to be a good sibling to your brothers and sisters out there in the field. All right? That means you got to cultivate feelings of friendship amongst your coworkers, and especially your union member coworkers. So what does that mean? That means you got to care about each other. You got to talk to each other, your tool buddies. Ask them about how they slept last night. Ask them about, you know, how are their kids doing? How's their family doing? How is life outside of work? Because work is only but one aspect. And if we're going to cultivate feelings of friendship, we got to talk about other things besides just work. So get into the habit of talking to your coworkers and becoming friends with them. Know your rights and defend them. Now, what does that mean? Being fully aware of your collective bargaining agreement. Every journeyman, every member of the IBEW gets their copy. When the new contracts are negotiated and approved, you get a copy. Read it. Highlight the important spots. Yeah, everything doesn't change all the time, but little things change. Understand it. You're reading a legal document. That means you got to read it really slowly. Pay attention to punctuation, because the sentences can be confusing if you're not careful when you read it. I should know. There were people in high up situations that misunderstood the wording in the document. And we had a conversation over Facebook about it. And we had to go back and forth, and I had to explain why he was wrong about what he thought about the contract. And this was somebody who was in a position of power that didn't understand the contract that they were reading. So legal documents can be very, very confusing, and you have to read them very carefully and very slowly. But understand your rights, know them, and defend them. They're there for a reason. That legal document is binding. It's there for a reason. Know what's in it, know your rights, and defend it. You have to be a safety net. What does that mean? You got to assist each other when you're sick or when someone's in distress. That's how we build solidarity. So when someone's sick, you don't make them do all the work. You tell them to go home and take care of their family. You pass the hat around to collection to help ease the burden of not being at work. There's things we can do to help each other in times of sickness and distress, and we have to be cognizant of that and actively do it, all right? And that's going to help to promote solidarity. It's going to make our union stronger. You got to put family first. What does that mean? You got to reduce the hours of labor. That's one of our mandates, is to try to reduce the hours of labor. So if you can, say no to overtime. You don't have to do overtime. It's not mandatory. So say no to overtime. Force the contractors to hire more people so that they can complete the work in a timely fashion and not depend on a select few to work 80 hours a week in order to get a job done. Don't take overtime. Let's hire more people. Let's do it in a smart way, and that's something that's also imperative to get through to our members so that they know overtime is not, that's punishment. That's not something that we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, I got a chance to work an extra 20 hours this weekend. Oh, that paycheck's gonna be fat. That's not why we're in a union. The idea is to not work so hard and still be able to pay your bills. So understand what the concept is so we can, do like Cardi B and understand the assignment. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, never settle. Never settle. We always seek a higher and higher standard of living. Why? Because we're labor unionists. The idea is to not kill yourself to work when a third of your life is also the time you're not working. You're supposed to have a higher standard of living when you're not at work if you're in a union. So don't settle. Make sure you put your quality of life as a priority for you so that you improve that. You have to be a shield. We have to protect each other at work the same way we protect our family at home. So when you see one of your union brothers being disrespected, maligned, mistreated, stand up for them. Help them to file a grievance. Do whatever it takes. Defend them. That's how we get a stronger union. That's how we keep that solidarity. That's how we make sure that our union is strong. You have to be an advocate. Within our members, we have all types of nationalities, cultures, and differences. We have to be an advocate. That's also one of our imperative things. What does that mean? That means that what affects any group in society affects us all. And through our solidarity with each other, this is how we're affected. Which is why we must fight to protect each other whenever we are attacked. Remember, the fight's not left and right, it's up and down. And we are all on the bottom rungs. So we have to fight for each other. You know what I mean? When you see someone being mistreated or someone having abusive language thrown at them, step in. Doesn't matter that you're not the same person and you're not the same culture. It doesn't matter. So you're union brother. You step up and you stand up for them. That's part of your responsibility as a journeyman. Okay. And then there's some other important stuff, and I know this video is long. Now stick with me. When you're assigned an apprentice, it's your job to impart wisdom onto that apprentice. Wisdom. You hear? Too many of our journeymen skirt their responsibility in teaching the apprentices and imparting wisdom. You're the apprentice's mentor. Act like it. You have to educate them on the best practices. You have to teach them how to do your job. How to read prints, how to bend pipe, how to pull wire, how to make terminations, etc. The best way to make up a head. All these things. You have to teach them that. But the education doesn't stop there with the electrical knowledge. It's got to go deeper than that. You got to teach them about unions and teach them about the struggle. Because that's important. That's half your job. That's important. The struggle is so important, and knowing your history is so important to know how you combat the things that are coming, because history repeats. You have to show how messaging is used to lie about unions. You'll see it in TV shows where they'll show 7 guys on a road job, and the characters of the show will be walking past, and it'll be one person working with a bunch of people standing around, and they'll make a negative comment about them and infer that they're union guys. That's why they get away with it. This happens all the time. You gotta show these apprentices how messaging is used against our movement so that they can combat it on their end, in their social circles, in their social networks, and they're able to combat that messaging. And that's how we spread a better message. That's how unions get a better reputation. But we have to impart that wisdom. We have to teach these things because it's not taught. But we know, we're aware, we're in the movement, we know. So we have to impart that wisdom. We have to tell them about the labor struggle. You got to tell them about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, about the Pinkertons and how they used to kill picketing, people that were striking and picketing. You got to tell them about the FBI and the Palmer raids and how they targeted union activists. You got to tell them about the Everett massacre and tell them about Haymarket Square and all the other union attacks and atrocities that happened in the labor struggle. You are the apprentice's mentor. Understand that. What you teach is going to carry weight because it's coming from a journeyman. So you must pass along the spirit of unionism along with the knowledge of the electrical industry. It's imperative. So when you get that yellow ticket and you become a journeyman, you have to understand that it's more than just a job that you show up to make a couple bucks and pay your bills, and so that you can go hunting and have a great, recreational time with the fat check that you made off the back and the blood and the sweat and the lives of the activists that came before you and fought to get that wage and those rights and those hours and all the other good stuff that you enjoy. Because believe it or not, we can and we will lose it if we don't fight for it. And we've been under attack for a very long time. So keep in mind, the fight isn't left and right. No sirree, that fight is up and down. It's up and down. And it's going to take solidarity to win, always. Yep. All right. If you like this video, like the video. If you like this channel, subscribe to it. And if you think it's helpful, share the content. Don't forget to hit the bell so that you never miss a video. All right? Thanks for checking me out, man. I'm Eric, and you're watching Union Minded. Peace.